Okay, so let's just dive right into it. We've all been sold the dream, right? The white picket fence, you're building equity, you finally have a place to call your own. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down the real costs, the ones that hit you after you get the keys. Think of it as the financial avalanche that somehow nobody ever seems to mention at the closing table.
You know the scene. Picture it. You're standing in line at Home Depot on a Saturday morning. The guy in front of you, he just dropped like $850 on drywall tape, some weird-looking pipe fitting, and what looks like a gallon of industrial-strength mold remover. His hands are covered in paint, and he just looks defeated, absolutely exhausted. And you're standing there thinking, oh man, that's going to be me, isn't it? This isn't just some random scene. For millions of new homeowners, it's a preview of coming attractions.
Last year, Americans spent a staggering $526 billion on home repairs and renovations. Just let that number sink in. It's so massive, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around, but let's give it a shot.
To put that into perspective, that $526 billion, that's more than the entire economic output of Sweden, the whole country. It's this shadow economy of surprise repairs and mandatory maintenance that underpins the entire housing market. And yet, we all treat it like some dirty little secret.
So how in the world are you supposed to plan for this? Well, you've probably heard the advice. The so-called financial gurus, they love to throw around this little thing called the 1% rule. And honestly, it's a piece of advice that sounds super reassuring, but in reality, it's a comforting lie that's practically designed to get you to sign those mortgage documents without a second thought.
The rule itself is really simple. Just set aside 1% of your home's value every year for maintenance. So on a $350,000 house, that's $3,500 a year. Sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? You can probably handle that. The problem is that rule was cooked up decades ago, back in an era of cheap labor and affordable materials. In today's economy, it's not just outdated, it's catastrophically wrong.
The truth is, your mortgage payment isn't the real cost of owning a home. Not even close. It's just the entry fee. It's the cover charge to get into a very, very expensive casino where the house, and I mean your literal house, always wins. You're paying to keep a structure from actively, constantly trying to fall apart.
So, a recent survey from Angie just lays it all out. What homeowners are actually spending is now between 2 and 3% of a home's value. So let's go back to that same $350,000 house. The 1% lie says you should budget $3,500. The reality? You need to be ready for $7,000 to over $10,000 a year. And that's just for starters. That's assuming nothing major breaks.
And oh, things break. And they break fast. Imagine this. You've just moved in. You're not even fully unpacked. 6 weeks later, bam, the air conditioning dies in the middle of a heat wave. That's $7 grand. 3 months after that, you see a little stain on the ceiling. Yep, roof leak. Another $4,500. By month 8, you wake up to a cold shower. The water heater's dead. Tack on another $1,800. You've owned this house for less than a year, and you're already over $13,000 in the hole on repairs you never ever saw coming.
And listen, don't think this is just some bad luck horror story. This is the norm. Nearly half of all homeowners, 46%, got hit with an unexpected repair of more than $5,000 last year alone. In fact, a NerdWallet study found that 44% of homeowners get hit with their first big, ugly surprise repair within the very first year. The first year.
And the really scary part? The problem is actually getting worse. We're in a perfect storm of financial pressure. You've got supply chain disruptions jacking up material costs. You've got more and more extreme weather events causing more and more damage. Labor shortages mean contractors can pretty much name their price. And on top of it all, higher interest rates make it more painful than ever to borrow the money you need to fix what's broken.
But the surprise maintenance bills are really just the foundation of this whole financial nightmare. On top of that, you have what I like to call the compounding costs machine. Property taxes, insurance, and HOA fees. These are the bills that never, ever stop growing.
So first, let's talk about the geographic lottery of homeownership. A $400,000 home in New Jersey comes with a property tax bill of almost $9,000 a year. That exact same house in Florida, less than $3,300. That's a difference of over $470 every single month, just depending on your zip code. It's insane. And then you've got homeowners association fees. Since just 2019, the median monthly fee has jumped a staggering 25%. And this isn't for, a fancier pool. In a lot of areas, especially disaster-prone places, the master insurance policy for the entire community has gone through the roof, and guess what? That cost gets passed directly on to you.
It is non-negotiable, and you can bet it will go up every single year.
Okay, so let's just see how this all stacks up. Your mortgage on a $450,000 condo might be $2,200 a month. That's the number you focus on. But wait, let's add $400 for property taxes, another $350 for HOA fees, and $150 for insurance. And just like that, your real monthly payment is $3,100, and that is before you have set aside a single penny for that inevitable emergency repair.
So all of this, it leads us to a fundamental question that really challenges the core of the American dream. We have been told our entire lives that renting is just throwing money away and owning a home is the only real path to building wealth. But what if? What if the math has completely flipped? Let's take a look at the numbers. It's pretty surprising.
Honestly, the numbers might just shock you. After 30 years of paying all those compounding costs, plus a 6% fee to a realtor when you sell, the homeowner might walk away with about $800,000 in equity. Not bad. But what if the renter had simply invested their down payment and then invested the monthly savings from not owning? After 30 years, they could end up with $1.6 million in liquid wealth. That is double the wealth of the homeowner. And yet, we've been culturally programmed to believe the renter is the fool in this scenario.
You see, real security, it comes from running the actual numbers, not from just trusting a fantasy. So the final question you really have to ask yourself is this: are you buying a home, or are you buying into a story about what homeownership is supposed to mean? Because at the end of the day, the house doesn't care about the story. It will take your money either way.